All right, beautiful, amazing people. Welcome to the iMi free community course. This is course number 2. So we appreciate our amazing guests coming by and being able to help launch this initiative. So if you haven't already, feel free to go ahead and introduce yourself in the chat. Put your name, the city you are repping today, and almost most importantly, because I'm a foodie, your favorite meal. No matter how strange, someone put cinnamon rolls and tacos earlier. AK, that was the queen. I fully support cinnamon roll and tacos. My favorite meal is probably going to be just Thanksgiving food in general, just that holiday food, all the gumbo, the honey baked ham, the turkey, the mac and cheese, the yams, the sour cream cake, all that stuff is amazing. So yeah, go ahead and put your favorite meal inside the chat. So today what we're doing is a community course called Bags Secured. If you don't know, April is Financial Literacy Awareness Month. So all month we've been trying to give little nuggets on how folks can build their own wealth and secure the bag. But we wanted to bring in an outside expert to be able to hammer it home a little bit and give her own amazing advice and wisdom. So we're going to do a short intro of what iMi is, in case this is your first interaction with iMi. And then we're going to introduce our esteemed guest, MaQueba Massey, the founder and CEO of Financial IQ LLC. There you go. I see the wave. And then we're going to have an open Q&A session. So if you do have, budgeting questions, wealth building questions, student loan questions, stuff around finances or even financial terms, feel free to go ahead and put those inside the chat. And during the open Q&A or even throughout MaQueba's presentation, she'll be able to answer them. And then we'll go ahead and, do a dismissal and hope y'all have an amazing, powerful weekend. Sound good? Cool. Thumbs up. Appreciate it. So, Institute of Melanated Innovation. And Queen, if I miss anything in the chat, feel free to jump in. But Institute of Melanated Innovation, we have 2 main goals. One goal is to increase access to Black Studies courses and experiences for our K-12 youth and community members. I know personally, I didn't take my first African American Studies course or Black Studies course until college, right? And that's when I actually learned about Tulsa's Black Wall Street. That's when I learned about microaggression. That's when I learned about a lot of stuff that influenced my life later and helped me start a business later on as well. So the question that I asked myself is, what if I would have learned about Black Wall Street 10 years earlier? Could I have started the Black Wall Street game 10 years earlier in high school? Could I have already started that business? And then where would Black Wall Street, the board game, be today if it had started 10 years earlier? So being able to give our community members, no matter what age they are, access to examples of excellence throughout Black history, access to knowledge of themselves can help influence what their future looks like later on. The second goal of iMi more long-term is to serve as a think tank and research center to focus on solving the problems of improving life within the Black community. So there's amazing research institutions all over the world that are, geared towards, sustainability, that are geared towards somewhat political justice, geared towards engineering and technology. But how can we make sure that our amazing melanated minds can come together specifically to improve Black life, specifically to solve the health problems, the social justice problems within our community. And we want iMi to serve as that think tank. So 3 main components that we offer is 1, on-demand courses. We have our Booker T. Washington versus Du Bois course. We have our Mansa Musa course. We have our Black Women Innovators and Inventive course. These are all courses that are already live. Hey, I see you. Woo, woo, yeah, Black Women Innovators. These are all courses that are already live. We have free live events like this one today, Secure the Bag community courses, where if you want to learn about, financial literacy and budgeting, we got you. Last month, we had Professor Williams on here spitting some bars and poetry, teaching y'all how to use words as a weapon for justice and improving. And then last but not least, our long-term is to be able to serve as an incubator and accelerator for our communities. So an incubator is basically, if you have a business idea and you want support, you want resources, you want people or mentorship to help you create that idea into an actual business, you would get into an incubator program. An accelerator is if you already have a business idea, right? But maybe you just want to grow a little bit, you want to go faster, you want to accelerate, then you would be given certain tools and additional mentorship in order for your business to grow. So our long-term goal for iMi is to also provide incubator and accelerator space for our amazing community. So we are launching now. So whether you want to be on as a guest and teach a course, or you want to your scholars or yourself to learn courses, you can head to imifoundation.com to take your courses, or reach out to us if you have any suggestions or courses that you would like to teach. We're very, very open to outside guests or outside lecturers. We do just ask that you try to, make sure that there's a nice cultural component into it. We are focusing on Black studies, but it can be finance, it can be dance, it can be art, it can be mental health, engineering, as long as it's through that lens of Black studies and it can benefit our culture. Okay. So we appreciate the support. Just launched officially this year, 2020. It's been a long time coming, so I appreciate the support in the iMi Foundation. Now, without further ado, I know why y'all here. Y'all are here to learn about money. Y'all are here to make sure you can get off your bad money habits or continue the good money habits that you may already have. So with us, we have an amazing guest that I've been able to meet through the gaming industry. We have MaQueba Massey on here, the founder, CEO of Financial IQ, or financialquestions.com, where they provide you financial flashcards, planners, and other tools to help you increase your financial literacy. You need to know the terms, you need to know the words in order to create the action. I love what they're doing, not only through their fun flashcards, but also through their workshops. If you visit them on Instagram, they're always giving free game, free nuggets all the time. So please help me in welcoming MaQueba, our special guest for today.
Thank you so much, Devon. That was an awesome introduction. And I absolutely love what you all are doing with IMI. I didn't realize that it was going to be as inclusive as it is. And so if you do need help with that in any form of fashion, please let me know, because I love the mission and the goal purpose behind that. But y'all are always doing the darn thing anyway. So I would not suspect anything less than that. But
Yeah, I'm gonna take you up on that too.
please do that. I would absolutely love that. So I am just going to give you all a quick, hopefully, a quick summary of me and who I am, my background, how I got to where I am. And then I will move into a few questions that I know that were asked beforehand during registration. And then if you all have any questions while I'm speaking, feel free to interrupt me. You can come off of mute, or you can raise your hand, or you can put it in the chat. I have it all up here on my three screens, so I'm able to see it all. And if I miss something, please, Devon, feel free to just interrupt me and let me know what's out there. So I'll go ahead and get started. Again, I am MaQueba Massey, founder and CEO of Financial IQ. But I'm also a doctoral student here at Jackson State University in Jackson, Mississippi. And yes, that is an HBCU. You may know us by our football team, specifically the head coach, Deion Sanders, Primetime. And I have a education in accounting, as well as finance. My undergraduate degree was in accounting. My MBA was specifically within finance, and I've worked in corporate America for about 4 years. At first, I worked for a small startup company called Invent Communities, who did a lot of building construction for homes. So if you think everything from start to finish with building a home, to its architecture, to renting it out, or selling it. And then I moved over to one of the big four accounting firms, called Deloitte, and I was their internal auditor there. And basically, I wanted to stop working corporate America because I was truly interested in walking in my passion and my purpose. And I felt as if I was giving away my Black education, my Black excellence, my Black intellect, and everything that I had all to a white company. And there was
Mm,
nothing that I was doing that was going to help my community or minorities in general. I felt like a number, and I did not want to feel like that. And so I went to this conference that was all expense paid for. I had to apply to it to learn everything about what a PhD entailed. And once I left that conference, I knew that that was exactly what I wanted to do. And so, just to be completely transparent, because I am an open book, especially if you ask, but this is part of my story and my journey. But I went from working in corporate America, making around $65,000, and going back to school. My salary went from 65,000 to $10,000.
oh,
Very much so a big drop in
mhm,
my income. But thank the Lord that since the age of 19, I had been learning about financial literacy. I was actually on a student advisory board for a financial institution where I grew up at, who walked all the students through just various topics there on financial literacy. But by that time, I had also, with that change in income, I had also been teaching financial literacy for about 5 to 7 years at that point. And so while it was a big dip in my income, I was able to do it based off of the knowledge that I had and by what I had been teaching all along. And so if you all can think from a mental standpoint, it was like, wow, MaQueba, you're teaching people how to build and how to grow, and you don't even make money yourself, right?
mm,
But then it was also that aspect of, okay, wow, MaQueba, you're here in Jackson and alone, and bills are coming in. I make $10,000. Bills are probably 70% of that, or if
mm,
not more. So how exactly are you going to make it? But God always comes through, right? And so but just to digress just a little bit more, to tell you how I specifically got financial IQ up and running. And it's a method to my madness as to why I'm telling you this much. So bear with me. But doctoral degrees, specifically in business, are the only ones that will pay you to go to school. Now, I'm at a HBCU, so they pay me a lot less.
mm.
And that's anywhere in the world, United States, Africa, wherever. If you are getting a PhD in business, they will pay you to go to school. Being that that's the case, it's very competitive to getting in, but it's also very intense because you are not allowed to work outside of that degree because they're paying for you and
Mm,
you're going to school for free. They're training you and all this other stuff. And so I was not able to have an outside job. The 10,000 was the max that I could actually make. However, being a millennial that I am, there was loopholes and there was nothing in the policy that said that I could not make my own company.
mm,
So that was my way out. So I created Financial IQ. And I did so because it was what I was going through at the moment. Shortage of income, got more money coming in. And so literally every day I sat down and wrote questions on how I could better my financial situation. So it didn't matter if it related to savings or how I could grow my income or how I could cut my expenses or whether or not if I should invest or how I could build my credit, whatever it was. I was asking myself various questions. And so, hence, that's how the financial flashcard game, it's called FI Questions, that's how that came about. So, it asked 69 thought provoking questions related to all those topics. And so, that was the start of the company. Since then, we have grown so much, and it's getting to the point where I'm starting to need more people and more help, and that's all by the grace of God. And so we've expanded to now having financial planners, I did write an ebook, but it's in regards to myself and my story that is completely free. That is on my website that Devon has shared here. And so you'll be able to see a little bit about, you got videos on there, what the company is, you got the financial flashcards that are on there. Nothing on the website is more than $20. And that's specifically because of the message that I'm putting out and the products that I put out. I want to be sure that it is affordable to absolutely everyone. So that's financial IQ, my background, and where I came from. Now, I'm telling you all this because I want you all to understand that what I do is because I'm passionate about it. I've
Mm.
had the education, I have had the experience. I am going through it right now. But not only that, I also research it in my doctoral program about how these financial institutions are maybe targeting us in a negative manner, which is making us maybe have, or it's increasing the gap in building generational wealth. And so my research is in regards to how we can close that gap and how we can make people more comfortable and confident and understand the psychological factors that are all playing into this. And so I'm saying all of this is because it's important for all of us to really understand who is speaking into our lives in whatever aspect. So I don't care what you learn, whether it relates to finances, whether it relates to religion or health, whatever it is, you need to know who is speaking into your life, because if they aren't practicing what they preach, we don't need no Derek Jacksons out here, Kevin Samuels, right? We need to know who is speaking into our lives, because that is going to make a tremendous impact on all of us. And so one of the questions that we got beforehand was, what are books or resources that you recommend to build financial knowledge? And I will be completely honest. I have bought several books, but I haven't read not one of them in its entirety. Now, I'll probably read a chapter or a page, or I'll get stuck on a little phrase here and there. And I'm just like, okay, I need to do this. But I have not read anything from start to finish. And so I I am telling you that because I should not be able to sit here and recommend you a book if I haven't read anything. I should not be able to sit here and recommend you any apps or tools if I have not used it. And so if anybody is recommending anything, you should always follow up with the question, now, what did you like about this? Or are you actually using this, so that you know what you're getting up front, because everybody's journey and experience is going to be different from yours. Now, I will say I have not read any books or anything like that, but I have bought books, and so I have them. I just have not read them in its entirety. And what I do is I like to watch webinars. I like to come to workshops like this to learn from in real time. Or I'm a visual learner, so I like to hear, I like to listen. And so books don't get it from me. Now I have them because I plan to read them one day, Lord willing, and I will. I'll get to it certainly after my program. But coming from that standpoint, that's specifically why I don't, because I like to do so in other ways. Now, I will say that if you all want books and tools to use, if you're going to do that, I would recommend that you research whoever has wrote the book, because in finances, everybody, and I mean everybody, is an expert. And everybody can be an expert. And so it's important that you know who is speaking to you. And so I can drop some names just right off, the people that I follow and get my information from, who are on my money team, who may not know me and who may. And so to give you all a few examples, Dave Ramsey, everybody knows him. He's somebody that I have his book, and I watch his webinars. I read all of his material as it relates to like blogs and tweets and things like that he puts out. But that's because I know him from the research that I've done. Dave Ramsey grew up 30 minutes away from where I did. He also grew up in the same sister congregation. And I don't know about y'all, but to me, faith and finances go hand in hand. And being that he teaches financial literacy from his faith, I'm able to identify that. And so I allow him to speak into my life. Another person is Tiffany the Budgetnista. She was an educator and then ended up having financial emergencies where she had to move back home because she wasn't making a lot of money. But she then came out with Tiffany the Budgetnista and then started growing from there. And so being able that or being able to know that that's her story and I've gone through what she's gone through or am currently going through it, I allow her to speak into my life. And then another one, John Hope Bryant, based out of Atlanta. He's CEO of Operation Hope. I know him personally. He has a book called Up From Nothing. I have that book, and he speaks to me in regards to entrepreneurship. He talks about financial literacy from a small business, small Black businesses, minority businesses, that aspect of things. And so that's why I allow him to speak into my life. And another one, which I I don't necessarily like his delivery or tone, but the type of person he is, Robert Kayowski. He's a big fan of Trump, but what I do like about him is that he speaks in regards to not your passion, but your purpose. And so that's what I'm trying to get to is my purpose. Like now I'm walking in my passion. This is what I want to do. And yes, I'm making money from it, but being able to do it on a purpose level where you're actually like creating companies and jobs and on a larger scale, that's what's the most important for me and where I want to get to. And so you'll notice people like him who don't necessarily pay taxes, i.e. Trump. And so but you understand why once you understand the things that they're doing, right? And so they don't pay taxes because they don't earn money, and you can't pay taxes on things that you don't earn, and they don't earn money because they own the things that they have, right? And so it's a bunch of nuances and different things like that that goes into it. And so that's why he's one of the people that I also follow. So in regards to books and resources and tools, I would recommend those because those are the people that I do follow. But it's all going to be contingent on what your story is, what you've walked through in life, and what that person has gone through, and compare it to yours. If it aligns, I say go for it. But if not, then you definitely need to find whoever it is that best aligns with you. And so with that being said, I'm going to go on to the next question. Do you all have any questions? If you do, please feel free to speak up or type them in there. But if not, I'm going to keep going just for the sake of time. But one of the questions was, how can parents teach their kids functional financial lessons? The key word there was functional, which means practical lessons. And so I think when I registered for this event, it was just like, do you teach in the form of games or books or courses or a mixture of everything? And so to that, I would say, do y'all ever have people that has just followed absolutely everything that y'all do in life? Like if you go outside, they go outside. If you drink water, they gonna drink water. If you raise your hand, they gonna raise their hand. And I'm pretty sure y'all have. And those people that are followers can oftentimes be in the form of kids. They do absolutely everything that you do. And so one of the most functional, practical ways that you can teach financial lessons is to be equipped with the knowledge yourself. Whatever you do financially, they will learn that and they will identify with what you're doing, whether it's bad or good, and they will implement those same practices. And there is absolutely nothing, and I mean nothing, that we do that we couldn't put it on a basic or smaller scale to allow them to do that. And so an example of that is just being able to go into a store and allowing the child to pay for the money. And so you give them the money, and then they go up to the cash register, pay for it, get the change back, count it, and make sure they got their $1.25, and that they ain't missing 10 cents or something like that. And then being able to take the groceries and going on with it. Or it could be you, the type of person like Sinclair. She's the travel planner for her family. Who knows? She could be the person that posts envelopes up on her wall and be like, this is our July vacation, and this is how much money we putting in it. So then give the same the child an envelope, and with their allowance, let them put their money in their envelope, whether it be for toys or books or whatever. And if they ain't got that goal on their wall, when they ask for it, be like, you ain't budget for this. So you're not getting. Like, it can be as simple things that we do in life. We can carry it forward with our kids. And that is the most beneficial, the most efficient and effective way for kids to learn. Now, I will throw the disclaimer out there that I don't have kids, but I have taught a lot of people in my life, and I do have a lot of cousins, and I know it's different from kids because I can send them things right back home, but the same practice still applies. And it has really helped my little cousins, because even now he'll call and be like, they call me Koya. And so he'll be like, look, Koya, I got $50. And I'll be like, okay, well, what you gonna do with it? And then he'd be like, okay, well, I'm gonna put $10. I'm gonna say that for my toy. Like, so he'd be walking through it because he sees that that's what I'm doing. And I have those conversations with him. And so I think that that's the most functional and most helpful. And I do see a question: is there a financial podcast that you recommend? Yes, but it's with the same people, the Dave Ramseys, the Roberts, and so I don't know the name specifically for them. I can get it to you when I send out the resources later. Yeah, I don't have the actual name, but it's with those same people that I mentioned earlier. But to go to the third question, if y'all don't have any questions, I'm gonna keep rolling for the sake of time. It was, is there a such thing as good debt? And this is all perspective when I say this, so I'm gonna throw this out as a disclaimer, and hopefully I can bring it back full circle. But to me personally, there is no such thing as bad debt. Debt is money. Okay, debt is money. It's not your money, but it's money. Okay, and so what I mean by that is that, why would you, as an individual, if you have access to somebody else's money, why would you use your own money when you can use somebody else's? Like, I'm not married, so I'm not gonna say that. But I was just like, if I was married, I would, like, if my husband got the money, he's just like, here, baby, you can do whatever. I'm gonna use his money. I ain't gonna use mine. So it's the same case when it comes to credit cards or mortgage loans or whatever that is. Now, where it gets good versus bad is the wisdom that we have. If we don't have the wisdom to say that, yes, I have somebody else's money, and no, I don't need this, then I don't, if I don't have that type of intellect or wisdom to be able to know the difference from right and from wrong, that's when it gets bad. Because then we start making decisions based off of things that we don't have. And so debt being good or bad is generally based off of whether or not if we have wisdom. And to further break that down for you all, let's just say, for home buyers, I don't know if anybody here is a home buyer, but I'm gonna use this as an example. When you buy a home, you normally get a mortgage. You using somebody else's money, right? But that money or that mortgage, that home, whatever it is that you get, is an asset. And assets are basically anything that can be converted into cash that is of value. And so with that other person's money, you bought a home, and now you renting that home out. And so the money that you get from the rent which can be considered as passive income, instead of that money going to you personally, you're putting it to pay off the mortgage, right? You haven't used your money one bit because you're making money off of the rent and you're paying back the mortgage with that money. So your money, your personal money, isn't impacted. Now, once you done paid off the mortgage, the money that you have left over can then start pouring into you. And so at that point, why wouldn't you use somebody else's money when you don't have to touch your personal finances and you can make all income coming from it? Another example, if you just like the person is just like, I don't have a home, and I like, how can I understand good debt versus bad debt from my perspective? Well, let's just say hypothetically that you have a credit card and you are buying clothes on the credit card, right? Most people be like, okay, why you need a credit card to buy clothes? Some people would say that that's bad debt, but it don't have to be. If you had a credit card and bought clothes, look at clothes, look at the items that you buy as assets, things that can be converted into cash that have value. So if those clothes can be converted into cash, with the credit card, you bought the clothes. And let's just say you're a model and you model in the clothes and you get paid for your pictures or you get paid for modeling. So the money that you're putting or the money that you're making from those modeling pics, you're paying off the credit card with it. Clothes don't cost that. Hopefully, they don't cost that much. I don't know what type of person y'all are, but my clothes
Listen,
come
there's
from
some
Walmart.
people on here that definitely rock designer.
Yes, like I personally don't rock designer, but if your clothes cost that much, then I'm assuming that you modeling, you gonna up the prices and it's all gonna wash out. And so the money that you make, you pay off the credit card. Once you finish, you still got the clothes and you can still use those as assets, because what was a sweater one day can be a skirt the next time. Like you can switch it up, right? And so you have different examples of how you can use other people's money, but you have to have the wisdom and the intellect and the mental capacity to know that, okay, if I'm using somebody else's money, this is how I need to use it, and this is how I need to use it to make me money to pay off that, and then after that it will all be income for me coming in. And so when the question asks, is there a thing as good debt? Yes, debt is money, but it comes down to whether or not if we have the wisdom to use it correctly. So what is your take on what should be the priority if you have some extra cash, paying off debt or investing? It's all contingent. This is actually one of the questions that is on my flashcards. And so with that, it really depends on the situation. If a person is in a lot of debt and they are at a point in their lives where they're at a point in their lives where there is too much and they're really underwater, at that point it would do you justice to focus on debt. When we invest, and I'm specifically talking about investments where you will receive dividends. So that can look like in the form of a home, that can look like stocks, CDs, whatever. If we invest, investing takes time. As Black people, and I'm assuming, and if you're not Black, minority, I'm assuming everybody that's on here is a minority. We oftentimes like to invest in things that will give us money very quickly. And that's not how it works. That's not how investing works. If you want something quick, you don't need to invest because it takes patience and time. And so, with that being said, if you are looking for something quick, you don't invest because it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in 1 year unless you get lucky. And in this world, we know luck is very rare. And so I would highly recommend, if that's your situation, to pay off the debt. Now, in my situation, where I make medium income and have medium debt. Do both. Use your investments that you can make passive income off of to pay off your debt. Only if you can, though. So there's so many different ways in which we can do things, but it's all going to be contingent on our situation and what we have coming in, and if we need money quickly or not. So I hope that answered your questions, or
It
your
did.
question.
And if I can really quickly, because we do have some new folks that have joined since. So in case you're just joining us, we do have the founder and CEO of Financial IQ here with us, MaQueba Massey, giving us some great nuggets of wisdom. So as people are now joining us, feel free to put in your questions. We are in the last maybe 15 to 20 minutes of the event, but she has been great so far and very honest and straightforward with the answers. So if you have questions, either for teaching your youth financial literacy or even securing your own bag on here, feel free to put those questions inside the chat. So I'll pass it back over to MaQueba from Financial IQ.
Perfect. Thank you for resetting the room. And also, if y'all want to, please feel free to come off mute and ask me anything. If I don't know the answer, I will tell you I don't know. I can research it later. But yeah, this is all for us being as open and honest as we possibly can be. And so I'm trying and willing to help you all to whatever extent that may be. And so let's be willing to certainly work with one another. And so the next question that I have that was listed on here, which I think that I answered it already, but for the sake of the people who just joined, how did you come up with the idea for Financial IQ? Financial IQ came about because of the situation that I was in when I first started school. I'm currently a doctoral student at Jackson State University, where I am getting my PhD in management and accounting. And coming back to education, I had to leave my corporate America job and take a significant cut in my income. But being that the demand for a PhD in business specifically is so intense, I cannot have outside jobs. And so, as a millennial, I found a loophole in the policy. It said I couldn't have outside jobs, but it didn't say I couldn't create my own company. So I came up with Financial IQ. And that has been my way to supplement my income to make up for the income that I was not making via school. So that's how I came up with Financial IQ. Financial IQ does sell financial flashcards, financial planners. We also just recently got into fintech. We created our own financial app. And so the next question that is on here, it says, what apps or tools do you recommend? Well, what do you have? I recommend I recommend Financial IQ. And no, it's my baby. I've been doing it for the last 8 to 10 weeks, and it has been one heck of a journey, y'all. But I wanted to do this because there are a lot of financial apps that are out there. But what you don't see is the community around finances. And that's really why I even created the company, because there's so much knowledge and information that's out there that we aren't sharing with one another. We don't even talk about it. Like, do you know as a person right now what your parents' credit score was? Was it bad or good? Do you know how much money your grandparents them used to make? And if you don't, why? And if you don't, how can you then understand where you're going if you don't even know where you came from? You have to understand the psychological things that are impacting the way that we believe and behave about money. But we won't know to do that if we don't even have the discussion. And so that's why the cards are created, so that it can ask us questions. The questions that y'all are asking me are some of the questions that are in the card game. And so I'm answering the questions because y'all are asking me. But just think, if y'all are asking me, but turning around and asking each other or your family or your friends, and people may not know the answer, But if people don't know, at least gives you food for thought. And let's say people do know, but they know, and what they know is wrong. They're teaching you what you shouldn't do. And if they do know, they're teaching you what you can do. And so it doesn't matter if somebody is doing something wrong and if their credit score is bad and they are giving y'all answers to these questions, because they are at least giving it from a perspective of things that you should not do. And that's where we have to be open and honest with ourselves about. We have to be comfortable and we have to be confident to say that, yes, I've been bad at this, but I know where I messed up, and this is the direction in which I need to take in order to get out of it. Or they can be the person to say, yeah, I know a little bit about this and I know how to get myself out of it, but I do need some help, and so I need some extra resources. Or they could be the person to be like, nah, you doing it all wrong. This is the direction in which you need to go if you want to have this credit score, or if you want to make this type of money. So it gives you perspectives from everybody's walk in life. And so the app takes the game and puts it in a digital format. So let's just say that you live at home alone like yourself. You're able to play with people around the world. So that's one aspect of the app. But then the second aspect of the app is a budgeting feature of it. So I have planners, budget planners, the physical copy. So if you like to handwrite, I got that. If you want to print it out yourself, or you want to do it online via computer, you can buy that. I got that. But if you also just want to do it on your cell phone or your tablet, that's what the app is for. So that's the second feature in the app. And then the third feature in the app is in regards to a forum. And so us being able to ask questions like this in the chat, whether it deals with home ownership or credit cards or student loans, or whatever you can think about, there will be videos and articles that are available to you all, so that we can have discussions around this in a safe community. And then if somebody is giving false information out there, there will be people who are monitoring it to flag it, and it'll kind of go away. But those are the three aspects of the app. I'm super excited for it. I actually have the final presentation for the app. So if any of you are interested, where you're just like, "Ooh, I want to learn about this a little bit more," like, it hasn't even came on the market yet. It's only been designed. It has not been coded yet. Only designed, where they just drew up everything, have the look, feel, the bells and whistles and different things like that. That presentation is Thursday at 3 o'clock. You're more than welcome to attend, just so you can learn a little bit more about me and what I'm doing there. But that's what or how I came up with the idea of financial IQ. But then, yeah, so the apps, I definitely recommend that. But if you need something right now, I do have Digit. Digit is an app that connects to your bank account, where you're able
They
to. Oh, go ahead.
sorry,
Sorry.
they text me every morning. Sorry, Digit.
Yes,
Hey Casey, and they're so cute. It's like
yes,
a little cartoon. We hooked you up, or we did this for you, or hey, I'm like, good morning, Digit.
yes.
I love it. Yeah.
I love it too. But the only thing, Casey, I don't even know if you know this, but they're going up to $5 a month, starting in I think May 2nd. And so they were $2.99, and I was ready and willing to pay that fee. But the $5, I'm just like, we're not about to do that. Like, y'all supposed to be helping me financially, not taking away from me.
But the texts are so sweet. They just make you feel
Yeah,
like, okay, somebody looking and got my back and reminded
right.
me to check into things. But okay, $5. I
Yeah.
feel you.
So just be mindful of that. It is going up. I know I'm not going to continue forward with it, just for the sake of what I have coming up. And I need to cut as much expenses as I possibly can. But yeah, you got Digit. Another one that is really good that I like is called Every Dollar. That's by Dave Ramsey. Completely free. There's some premiums if you want to upgrade and do more bells and whistles, but you have that as well. And then there's another one called Mint. I started using that, but then I stopped because it was just like I had so many. So I will say, going back to my earlier point up top, if you all weren't here for that, I do not recommend things that I have not used. And so that's why I'm throwing these disclaimers that I used at Mint. I used it for a month, but then it was just like too much to keep up with everything. So I stopped. But from what I did see, I did like it. If you are somebody who needs help with building your credit, and if your credit is good and you just want to increase it a little bit more, this is not for you. If your credit is bad and you're trying to get it to good, this is for you. If your credit is minimum and you still want to push it over to that level, to like the excellence level, this is also for you.
What is bad?
No. Well, the app is called, oh, bad. You're talking
Yeah,
about
like
credit.
what is bad credit? What is good?
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I thought you was talking about the app is bad. I'm just like, no. But okay, bad credit is anything that's going to be less than good. And so there are ranges to credit, right? And there's different ranges for different see my I hope y'all can see my screen. I think I'm stopped here. But you want to make sure that you look up FICO ranges. And so when you look up FICO ranges, I don't want to pull this up big because then I feel like something's gonna happen and we got 5 minutes left. So hopefully y'all can see this.
Yeah, we can
But
see.
okay, perfect. And so you can see the difference here. 781 to 850. That's excellent, right? But when you start getting into the bad, I would say that's anything less than a 600. So if you at that 601 to 660 type, that's fair. And then you kind of move on up. But you really and truly want to be in that 38% range if you want to be solid, right? Of course, everybody want to be in 781 to 850, but that's very hard to get into. And especially if you've had mess ups earlier in life and you're trying to overcorrect things. So I would say a good range is that good, that 661 to 780. And so it doesn't matter. I should throw this out here. It does not matter if your credit score is 665 versus somebody who has a 775. People don't look at your score, they look at the range. And so it doesn't matter where you are in that range, they look at the range and say, okay, she or he has a good credit score. So be mindful of that. And don't let nobody tell you, if y'all still got the same range of score, that they score better than yours. It is higher and it is going to that excellency, right? But it's the same range. And so when we look at lenders, people who you buy homes for, getting credit cards for, anything like that, they're going to group the range together. And so you will still be able to get the same things that that person who's maybe at a 775 when you are at a 665, okay? So be mindful of that. Other than that, I will stop right there. I don't see any other questions. If you have some, please speak up or put them in the chat. But if not, then I am going to pass it back off to Devon to close us out.
Much appreciated. If y'all can please help me in giving a round of applause for Miss MaQueba. Dr. Massey, I know, I'm saying, go ahead and manifest that. Dr. Massey for her amazing wisdom. Definitely go ahead and go to financialiq.com or financialquestions.com if you want to learn more. When the app is available, I'm sure there'll be direct resources from there, but you can get the flashcards, you can get the wisdom, you can follow them on social media. So a few takeaways for today is, one, go ahead and create your budget, either for you, for your youth. I love the example that me and the Queen are definitely going to use one day on, like, if there's a family trip that you want to go on, or if there's something that your young one wants, put it on the board, put money towards it each week, every day, every month, and when they can afford it with their own money, then they're able to go do it. So create your monthly budget. Number two, relationship. Take the time to reflect on your personal relationship with money, but also ask your parents, or ask your young ones how much money are they making, what's their credit score, how do they budget, and start to know your lineage relationship with money, right? How did my mom spend money? How did my grandma spend money? And how does that influence how I spend money? And then lastly, do your own research on the sources that you get your information from, right? She was giving a lot of good stuff on like, oh, Dave Ramsey does this, John Hope Bryant does this, and this is why she uses those people as financial mentors, because she did the research and the values matched up. So for the people that you get your financial education from, your spiritual education, your parenting education, whatever it may be, make sure you check those sources and that y'all have the same values as well. All right, so we thank you for attending. Definitely, again, follow Financial or FI Questions on Instagram if you want to learn more about them. Follow Play Black Wall Street to support Black Wall Street, the board game. And if you want to have more access to our free or paid courses later on, you can go to iMi Foundation. iMi stands for Institute of Melanated Innovation, imifoundation.com, and you can get access to this recording as well as other free courses we've had in the past. Last month we had Brandon Williams, or Professor Williams. Carmelita was on here dropping bars. I remember Carmelita. So that one is now on the iMi platform. This one, after we do our editing, will also be available for free on the iMi platform. Okay. So thank y'all very much. Let me go to this chat before I go. Yes, thank you. Got all the resources in the chat. There will be handouts later on that we'll get from MaQueba Financial IQ that will also be on the course platform as well. So love seeing some familiar faces. Casey, appreciate you. Hope your family over there.
Yeah, we're well. I was moderating a human trafficking symposium this morning, and it went a little over with the questions and other things. So I thought I'd be done at 11:30 and slide on in, but I love what I caught, and I was trying to get the boys on, so they've appreciated being in your programs before, and any information they can get on how to be financially stable and secure, I'm here for it.
Definitely appreciate you. Hope your presentation went well. Brother Morocco, thanks for joining from the East Coast. There it is. We got Ryan on here.
And I wanted to say thank you as well. Thank you also. I'm sorry. I'm like Casey. I was a little tardy. I was doing something else, but I always like to come and support. And even though Sinclair doesn't know who I am, I'm the president of her fan club. So I tell your husband that all the time.
Oh my goodness, thank you.
I had to make myself be known. MaQueba, you were awesome with the little bit that I caught. So I'm definitely going to watch the replay, and I definitely will connect, because more people, you need to be in front of more people. And this is the platform that opens up all these doors. As I listened to my Black Love playlist, I was dropping bars, but not that well last month, but I love the But thank you so much, and thank you for always including me. I appreciate it.
Of course, Queen Turner, I appreciate it. Thanks for the love. Sinclair got everybody. I see you, Queen. I see you. All right. Ryan, thanks for coming through. Casey Ann, my mom, thanks for coming through. Always, like, we got multiple Caseys, but Casey Ann, my mom, appreciate you for coming through as well. And all right, any final words you would like to give folks before we officially close?
Did you ask me, or are you talking to somebody? Oh,
yes, ma'am.
No, I don't. Thank you all for joining. I truly appreciate you all taking some time out to hear about IMI as well as Financial IQ. I'm willing to help any way that I can. So please feel free to email me, whether it be through partnerships, collaborations, other speaking gigs, or whatever that looks like. I'm here and happy to teach any and everybody. So thank you all so much. God bless, and love and light.